Today here on the Kaipara, well, we've got vessels such as ourselves operating. There's quite a big fishing fleet based back in Helensville, a lot of the northern ports here on the harbour, a lot of pleasure boats tucked up just about every little nook and cranny here on the Kaipara. And there's also a large and developing sand dredging industry operating here on the Kaipara today. Over to the right-hand side of the boat there, in a place called Mount Rex. Now Mount Rex is presently the size of Atlas ready mix from Takapuna. It's their sand depot. We've got a very high quality of white sand out here in the middle of the Kaipara Harbour, and you can see all the sand ashore there. Atlas Ready Mix is involved in suction dredging the sand from the sea bottom. They've got two of these large suction dredges, such as you can see to the right there. Now these vessels, they do up to 2 trips in a 24-hour period. They suck up between 5 and 600 metres off the sea bottom. They bring the sand back into this location to the right. The sand's unloaded, and then it's taken by truck through to Auckland for use in their different concrete building products. Just to the right-hand side of the boat, the smaller river there is the Kaipara River. Now the Kaipara River goes for many miles inland, winds up through some very beautiful native bush, and has its headwaters some 5 miles from River on the east coast. We very often will take the QB2 around about 4 to 5 kilometres inland in the Kaipara River. It's been for many years. These little gutaways running off into the mangroves. These gutaways will completely full up with water at high tide. And when they do fill up with water, this makes them a favourite form for the eel fishermen. And very often when we're out here, we see the eel fishermen with their traps right up in the gutaways here. It's not uncommon for them to catch up to 40 or 50 of these big slimy eels in one setting. Eels can be anything up to about a metre long. Now a very interesting thing happens to the eels when they're caught here on the river. The eels are taken through to a processing plant at low temperature. Well, they go into a hibernation stage, and to look at the eels you'd think they're all dead. Lie there listless, they don't move around. At that stage the eels are then exported. They're either flown across to Europe for the European markets, or perhaps into Asia for the Asian markets. Now when the eels get across to Europe or Asia, they're allowed to thaw out. And when they thaw out, they become alive again as such, and they're all wriggling around. That means the eels which are caught here on the Kaipara River, anything up to 25, perhaps 35 days, they're all wriggling around as live as anything on the market tables in Europe or Asia to be purchased and taken home for the person's dinner. To make sure the island was stable enough to take the weight of the big nuclear reactor. They did a lot of tests on the tidal flows of the Kaipara Harbour to make sure there was enough tidal flow for the cooling of the nuclear reactor. It was only due to the political considerations of the day that the nuclear power plant across here on Jordan's Island, the reason they brought the grid down here on the Jordan Island flat was to pick up the feed from the proposed nuclear station, which was to be built there in the middle of the 1970s. Back through to Mount Rex here, and later on this afternoon sometime I'll turn around and make another return journey down to the Kaipara Heads. As I say, they do up to 2 trips in a 24-hour period. Once again, we're looking back into the South Kaipara Peninsula. But if you look on the skyline of the South Kaipara Peninsula, you can see the dark green of the pine forest. Now this is part of a larger forestation scheme. This is the Woodhill Forest. Now the Woodhill Forest runs all the way from Muriwai Beach right along the western side of the South Kaipara Peninsula, all the way through to the very tip of the entrance of the Kaipara Harbour. Now the forestation area across to the left was started there during the 1930s, and the reason they started the forestation area across on the South Kaipara Peninsula was that the sand from the west coast beach was threatening to encroach right across and engulf the developing farmland. So during the Great Depression, during the 1930s, the government of the day started work camps in what was isolated sand dunes to the left-hand side of the boat. and they started the planting of the pine forest. And as I was saying today, there's some 30 odd miles of pine forest there, all the way from Shelly Beach right through to the very tip of the entrance of the Kaipara Harbour area there. And that's another little spit that runs out into the harbour, and we call that an island as well. In fact, it's actually got a name. This is Opaheki Island off to the left-hand side of the boat. The Opaheki Island was known in early Maoridom as an area where they would garden down on there and grow vegetables down on the fertile soils in the Opaheki Island. In the 1870s, a census was taken of the local Maori people in the southern part of the Kaipara, and that census showed there were some 6 Maori families living and gardening out here on Opaheki Island. Today, Opaheki Island is all part of the Otakanini Maoris lot.
Going ashore at Shelly Beach, but not just at the moment. We're going to make our way down past the cliff line here at Shelly Beach, and we'll take you out to where you can see the expanse of the Kaipara Harbour. It has its origins in the Ikarangi swamps north of Whangarei. The river in the southern end of the harbour, the Kaipara River, which we've travelled through this morning, it has its origins in the Waitakere Ranges west of Auckland River, a stream or tributary of the Kaipara Harbour. Make our way back here to Shelly Beach. We'll get up alongside the wharf there in just a moment. Unfortunately, wind's come away a little bit, so a little bit of movement as we get off the wharf there.
quay ở tại